So I cut my templates out. I only cut one of these, but that's fine. So let's see, these straps here we need later. First of all, we need this piece and this one, because this is the same piece. And we need two of these, because this is the side pieces that's going to sit in between here. But first of all, we need to figure out what we're going to make this from. And I decided to make my pocket from this fabric and the book bag itself from this one. So I am going to place my patterns here on this fabric, and this is leather, and I got that from a wrist sale here in Denmark. So this is nice thin leather, but you can use fabric instead. I cut out this big piece and I cut out the tiny pocket here. There we go. And I cut out two of these black sides, so I'm going to take this and put that aside. And I even cut out two in this brownish leather from the small strip here. So I'm making sure that I have this little pocket around where it needs to go, like that. So I'm going to take some fabric glue for this, but you can sew it also, especially if you make this out of fabric, then it's easier to sew it. But as this is made of leather, it's easier to glue everything down, so I'm going to use my fabric glue. And first of all, I'm going to take my pocket and I'm putting glue all the way around here in a tiny edge. Like that. So I have this thin strip of glue all the way around the pocket, taking this piece where I need it to go, and I'm going to clean off excess glue here. Leave this to dry for 10-15 minutes before you continue. So this has dried now for a little time, so these are really good for this project. So to keep everything together. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it down the sides here. So I have a tiny strip of glue all the way down here, and I'm going to take this, turn it over, and I'm going to take this little part and I'm going to place it here at the edge. And I'm going to take these and place them as well, like this, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So it has been drying for a little, so I'm going to take out these clamps. So I'm going to take my glue again, and yes, there is a lot of waiting in making this, but that's the way it is. And I am going to glue the bottom here. This bottom part. So I'm going to bend this piece and place the bottom piece, and again I'm going to take one of these clamps and I'm going to clamp it down, and on the other side as well. And I'm going to leave this, then I'm taking a piece of a popsicle pin and I'm going to glue that here into the bottom of the back, and I'm going to do that with my fabric glue, and I'm going to leave this to dry for enough time for this piece of wood to stick. So this has dried for long enough, so I'm just going to take off these clamps everywhere like that. Looks good. So now I just need to glue this side up here. Now I'm gonna do that. Like that, and the same on the other side, and then leave it to dry. So I am pretty sure this is all nice and dry. Just making sure it's all glued in the edge, and it is. So that's nice. Then I cut out these 2 strips in the small one. And I actually cut them a bit thinner than the drawing, because I think they're a little neater when they're not that thick. And I cut the long strips out, but I cut them in small strips, and again I cut them that thinner, and I cut 4 of these small ones. I'm going to take the 2 smallest one of the black here, and I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to take some jump rings. So I need 2 jump rings for each of these straps. So I'm going to take my strap here, and I'm going to place 2 jump rings, and I like to make it so that the place on the jump ring, that's the opening, is here on the fabric, like that. Then I'm going to take some of my fabric glue, and I'm going to place some on this little end. And I'm going to place that around the jump rings here, like this, and glue it tightly. And again, I'm using my small clamps here to keep it together, and I'm gonna do that on all these strips. So I have 3 straps with 2 rings on. Close the bag all together so I know where the back on the bag is, or the top of the bag. And I am measuring this strip because I want this one to be sitting like a hook like that. So I am cutting it off in length. And again, I take some of my fabric glue and place some of it on each of these ends of the strap here. Placing one end, twisting it around, and placing the other end. And I'm not sure I cut the middle of this. Let's see, 1, 2, not all that in the middle, so I'm just going to move it. I like it to be as much in the middle as possible. Clamping those down, and then I'm going to leave it to dry. So these has dried, and I haven't taken off the clamp here. I took that off, so I can put that aside. Then I put my books into the book bag to make it fuller, so I can see where to put the things. And I want these to sit with the rings right where this starts, and I want the strap to go all the way over. So I'm going to cut that into the length. And then I need a strap here to sit here that can be closing the book bag when you have the books in there. So I have that other strap for that right here. But first I'm going to take this one with the rings in, and I'm going to put glue all the way down here. Place it at the bottom of this. And all the way down, making sure it still sits like I want to. Then I'm going to take this other strap. I did not cut it in length because I don't know how long I want it yet. I'm not gonna let it go all the way around, so I'm just gonna start it here at the bottom of the pocket. So I'm going to make a straight edge right there, and then I want it to go up to around where it starts with the rings. So that will be around here somewhere. So I'm just gonna glue on that lower part on this strip. perfectly lined with the other one. And again, this glue dries clear, so it doesn't actually matter if it runs a bit out, because you won't be able to see that later anyway. And I'm going to leave it to dry like this for a few minutes before I continue. So my glue has dried, and I have the two straps here. They are the same length, and I cut them in a tiny bow at the top. And then I have the two straps with the rings on. But let's see, I'm going to close this one off. So I am going to put one, first of all I'm going to put it through both of these, and then I am taking the lower ring and pulling the strap through that one also. This way I can close off the tiny bag here. And then I can cut off the strip in the length I want it. Turn it around, then I'm going to take the strips with the rings on, and I measured that from the neck of my doll and down her front, so I'm sure that they have the length I want it to. And I'm going to glue it here, the good side to the good side. This way it will turn the right side around when it's done. So I'm going to take my glue again and place a tiny bit here on the good side, something like that. Then I'm going to take the two strips here that I cut in the same length, and I made the little round thing here. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to glue these on at the bottom of the back, and I'm going to glue them so there are again good side to good side, and I'm gluing them on so they're pointing downwards but out, so they're like cricket on there, good side to good side. So the rings are here on the top. There you go, the rings are right there on the top, and the strips are pointing down here like that. And now we just need the glue to dry, and that's actually all there is to this little bag.